Let's go. We are live once again. Congratulations to the person that won the giveaway just a few minutes ago. I am setting up for sharpening right now. We're going to teach some knife sharpening and talk about some knife sharpening steels and all that good stuff, edge retention tests, whatever the hell we want to talk about when it comes to knives, sharpening stones, and anything in between. I'm pretty much open on talking about whatever, because I know some of you guys like to get weird, and I like to get a little weird too. So, oh man, I should have changed that damn thumbnail. Hang on a second. Damn it! Excuse me 1 second, guys. I just gotta change this out really quick. Take me 2 seconds. These ones AI ones or something. No, whatever, that'll work. Save. Okay, so everything's linked down in the description. You can find pretty much all the sharpening stuff linked in the Neeves Knives store with sharpening supplies, not the Neeves Knife Co store, but Neeves Knives store with sharpening supplies. Now there you can buy anything on there. That's just an Amazon store, so you can go up to the search bar and search whatever you want if there's other things you're not finding there. However, Hapstone is a sharpening supply store down there. I have TS Prof down there. I have a lot of other Worksharp. Workshop's probably one of the most, Workshop's a killer company. We're actually going to pull out their field sharpener here in a second, which is absolutely a must. What are we sharpening? Actually, I have the new lightweight AURORA PM9. So I did tune this up. What happened was it's actually really sharp still, but I can feel some nicks in the blade. I used it all day today. I had to break down cardboard. I actually tore off some of the coating on it already. I've only used it 1 day, but I was fucking beating the shit out of it today. So I need to sharpen it. So I figured I'd just, oh, thought it was gonna stick. I got to sharpen it real quick. And there we go. We got to sharpen that up really quick. We're going to start off with an Atoma 140. Why Atoma? So Atomas use diamond clusters. So this is one of the most aggressive freehand stones you can get. And why is that good, right? Why is aggressive good? Well, aggressive means it's going to go faster. Typically, a lot of you guys wind up getting a stone that's entirely way too fine for you to be reprofiling on. So you wind up spending a long time and you're like, why am I not getting anywhere? You know, and you're sharpening. Well, it's because your stone is not aggressive enough. It can't remove the material as fast as you want. And I know this to be so true because when I was young, I remember sitting on those like silicon carbide stones for like an hour and I felt like I wasn't doing anything, and I wasn't. I really wasn't, like, not compared to how it could go. Something like this will remove steel very fast. Now, some people think, well, doesn't that mean that if I'm going to make a mistake, it's going to make the mistake even worse? Somewhat true, right? Somewhat true. But the better way to look at it is that you will see what you're doing immediately. So if I do one pass like this, I immediately can see what I did. That's a good thing, because that means now if I need to adjust angles, I don't have to go 10 times to see what, see what angle I'm at. So that's one good thing. The next good thing is that the faster you can sharpen, faster you can just hold an angle and go across the stone and do the job, the less fatigue you're going to get, which in return means your edges will be better. The best sharpened edges are going to be the ones that go with ease. Like the steels, when I sharpen, that go fast, that the burr's easy to remove, everything's easy all the way across. Those are always the best edges. And it's because when you've been doing this for so long, you start getting a little fatigued. Well, now you might start dropping the angle. You might start raising the angle. You might start fluctuating a little bit, which in return is going to add facets to your edge. Facets are just angle change. So like instead of doing, say, a 20, all of a sudden I'm doing a 17, all of a sudden I'm doing a 22, and I'm just, changing angles, like going like this, basically. I'm changing it like this as I'm going across, even though it doesn't feel like it. So you will be able to cut it in nice and fast without fatigue, leading to a nice flat bevel, so that while your wrist is still fresh, you're able to hold that angle and get it done. So, what are we sharpening? So right now we are sharpening. Ooh, what the hell, Bobby? This is, by the way, the Pyrite Light. This is brand new. I don't even know if it's dropped yet. Say hi to your mom. My mom's in here. Shout out to my mother. I love you, mother. When did you change your show to Mondays? I didn't, Mom. This is a different live. I'm leaving on Wednesday for I'm leaving for Blade show. So, Jared, don't forget, call your brother today. It's his birthday. Okay, I will call him after this. Thank you for reminding me. So you want to grip the knife, right? Get a hyper aggressive stone. I recommend a Toma 140. You don't have to spend this much for a stone. I say anything 300 grit and lower is what you want. That's what I recommend. Some people might recommend up to 400 grit, but I recommend up to 300. So between 100 grit and 300 grit is what you want. Now, not all sharpening stones are created equally. So get diamond. Just get diamond. Don't fuck with anything else. Don't mess with aluminum oxide. Don't mess with the Arkansas. You can mess with those later if you want to. Start with diamonds. I can't stress that enough. The difference in the quality of edges you'll be able to do at a beginner level. Like, this is what the pros use. Well, the reason why the pros use diamonds is because they are so good. They're also good for beginners. Better for beginners, I would say. Now, those natural Japanese water stones, wet stones, those are high maintenance stones. So when I say professional stones, like I'm not talking about professional in a way that they're going to lead to better edges. They're professional in a way that they just take a lot more effort, a lot more work. You know, so they're more for professionals, people that have been sharpening for a long time, people that don't mind a mess and don't mind flattening their stones and cleaning them and all that shit. Get diamonds, you don't have to do any of that. You literally grab your stone out of your back pocket if you want, set it down and start sharpening. That's it. When you're done with it, dust it off and put it away. It's that simple. Now, you can use any diamond stone. So if you find some on Amazon, as long as you're using the Neeves Knives store link down in the description, that's fine. You know, anything will work. The thing is the very cheap ones will wear out very fast. They won't be as aggressive. They'll be a lot more contaminated. There'll be a little more issues. I like to recommend Ultra Sharp, DMT, or a Toma for bench stones. Knife Standard, what's up, brother? Hello, what do you think about Worksharp knife sharpener? Which one? They have a lot of knife sharpeners. So, yeah, it just depends on which one you're talking about. I have a lot of them. I love Worksharp. I think Worksharp does a really, really, really good job. I highly recommend the Worksharp field sharpener. I have their new Ken Onion version too. I'm testing right now. Man, you should just use the Sharpen's Best pull-through sharpener if you do it like that. This gets nice. Yeah, I bet. That's hilarious. You know what's funny is, I'm sure you already know this. I'm sure I've already told you this because I'm sure you've seen my video on that shitstone. Those things suck, but I have the actual real one from him, and when I get back from Atlanta, I'm going to do an edge retention test with it. I'm going to use that on a steel that I've already done an edge retention test, and I'm going to redo the edge retention test on the exact same knife and see what the differences are. Okay, so you want to grip the knife in a way that is comfortable for you. So get it in a good grip, something that where you can hold it at an angle and something that you can lock, because you're going to want to be able to go back and forth across the stone without raising the angle or dropping the angle, right? So I'll tell you how to find your angle here in 1 second, but get yourself in a good grip. Now, technically, your angle, it's important to the level of sharpness, but if you're trying to match the bevel, right, whatever's on the knife already, if you just get it close, you'll be fine. Like, you don't have to, don't focus on that so much. Focus more on holding the right angle, or holding the angle you pick. So once you comfortably have your wrist, set it down, find about where it's at. It doesn't have to be perfect, but as long as it's right around the edge angle, then you can hold that angle. Now, if you're not good at seeing, exactly where it's at, which is really easy, because all you got to do is lay it on the stone and you'll see a shadow under the edge, start lifting it up until it goes away, and pay attention to the heel of the blade. So right here, the heel of the blade, when that touches, you got it. So You could also do this. This is 90 degrees. Cut that in half. So from the spine to the stone, cut that in half. It's 45. Cut that in half again, 22.5. That's a good angle, or a little tiny bit lower or a little tiny bit higher is a good edge angle. The guided work sharp bench sharpener is pretty good. I like the stone pivots. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one too. That one's pretty good. I don't let the thing move, but I think it's good for beginners. I tend to just lock it because that's what I like. But I know what you're saying. Jared got him a new. Oh no, I didn't. This is actually an old base. I just chipped my tip pry. Yes, I did. Luckily, we're sharpening this thing. All right, so lock your wrist, right? Because our goal is, once we find our edge angle, which is very easy, I'm not even going to look for my edge angle because I don't give a shit. I know that's right there is about a good angle because I sharpen enough. And like I said, as long as you hold that same angle, the edge bevel will now become, because no matter what, you're cutting in a new bevel. So it doesn't matter if you're a little off. You're going to cut in your own edge bevel anyway. So here's my edge angle. Now, you just don't want to be too high and you don't want to be too low. You want to be right there in the middle. So this is the edge angle. Now, I'm going to lock my wrist. My wrist is locked. No fluctuation. Because if you don't lock your wrist, what will happen is as you're coming across the stone, you will lift and that will roll your edge. If you come across stone and you drop, that's going to make your edge bevel really big or you'll scratch your blade. So lock your wrist. And as you come across to get to the tip of it, right? Because right there, we're hitting the heel right now. To get to the tip, raise our elbow. That's it. Drop elbow, raise elbow. Drop elbow, raise elbow. That's the goal. So sometimes you might use your elbow to pull it in like this and then raise it up when you get to the tip. So when I want to get to the tip, I just raise up my elbow and then I can bring it back. Or I can use my body by leaning back and forth like this. So same thing, I'm going to lift my elbow and drop it. So lift elbow, drop it. Lift elbow, drop it. And it's so subtle. I was exaggerating when I did it the first time just to show you what I'm doing. It's very subtle because, you know, I only have to move it this much. Watch. That's it. So lock your wrist, come across a stone, and lift elbow. Now I'm going to use my body. What do you think the best fixed angle sharpener is? KUBEY, Work Sharp, Precision Elite, or TS Prof? TS Prof. TS Prof K03 is the best one out there. Hands down. No competition. A lot of those other ones you mentioned are good. They're great systems. So if you're looking to save some money, because TS Prof is very expensive, but they offer all the attachments that you could ever need. So that's the thing with fixed angle systems. A lot of them are limited and a lot of them don't have aftermarket parts, or a lot of them don't sell extra parts. So you wind up running into issues where there's this knife I can't sharpen, or there's an angle I can't hit, or I'm kidding my clamp, or something happens. TS Prof cuts all that shit out, because say if you run into that issue, well, guess what? They have an attachment you can buy that'll fix it. So again, locking my wrist. Now I can lift up. So I go across the stone, lift up, and go right back down. Since I'm locking my wrist, I'm not changing my angle. When I lift up, I'm lifting up my elbow, dropping it back down. Lift up elbow, drop it back down. So that way I'm not changing angles. Now I can also go back and forth if I want to. It doesn't matter which one you do. A lot of people find going back and forth a little easier because they're not lifting up. When you lift up, you have the chance of changing angle. Here's the thing though, when you go back and forth, you see me touching the blade right now, no pressure. Do not apply pressure. If it's a big chef knife, there might be times where you'll add the weight of your hand or your finger, and that's it. You never apply pressure. If you push down when you're sharpening, that spot it'll get a big bevel. So no pressure. This is literally just for my fingers to feel the angle. So as I'm coming across, if my knife starts to raise, I'll feel it. If it starts to drop, I'll feel it. So it's kind of just a balancing thing so that I can feel my angle staying the same. It's just giving me two indicators. I have my wrist and these fingers. You can also put them back here like this. I like to do it like this too. This way you can literally just pick a spot in your finger and make sure it doesn't move from that area. Always sharpen with a lit cigarette dangling from my lips. Smoke getting in my eyes. Hey, man, that's a story of my fucking life. I quit smoking a few years ago, but since I started smoking when I was like 12 years old. We're done with this side. I have a burr, by the way, guys. I was just doing a few more passes to flatten out my bevel because I was messing around. So we have a burr. We've been done with this side. Now, I'm going to do a little reverse stropping pass. My goal is not to do anything other than flip my burr back over. Because right now I just sharpened this side. When you sharpen one side, the opposite side will have a burr on it. A burr is just the steel folded over to the other side. The reason why is because when you remove steel from one side, it basically, as you're removing steel, a thin little piece of it will fold over to the other side. So that is the burr. So I want to flip it out of the way because one, the burr removal at the end of sharpening is one of the most important parts about sharpening. So you're going to want to pay attention to your burr moving forward. Right now, this is our first stone. The burr is important to get, but we want to get it out of the way. And then also, if we flip it back and forth throughout our sharpening, it'll be fatigued by the time we get to the end. Now, if you just remove it, that's fine too. It doesn't matter. SLD magic, and it's like, hey, your hand touching the blade every 2 seconds is crazy. You talking about this? Well, right now I'm feeling for a burr. So, okay, let's talk about that because somebody left me a comment about that. It might have been you. I'm not sure. Maybe it wasn't. But knife sharpeners are always touching their edges, and the reason why is because these are all indicators. Like I don't even have to look at. I'm on edge all the time. Yeah. You don't even have to look at it. That's the thing. I can literally read and check my edge at the same time. Right now, when I'm going like this, I'm checking for a burr, right? So I can feel there's a burr from heel to tip. I got most of it out of the way, but I can still feel it's a little bit. Once I pass across the stone, it'll be completely gone. When I touch like this, I'm touching for bite. So that is telling me the micro serrations that are at the edge bevel, if they're consistent, if they're sharp, if they're toothy, if they're nippy, if they're working. Because I'm sharpening in one direction, my micro serrations are going to run in one direction. And seems logical told me I should have drew a picture and laminated it, but your boy isn't too smart, so he did not. So was it? Oh no, somebody's got fucking jokes over here. All right, so this is obviously exaggerated for you guys, so because I want you guys to understand it. So you see that? That is the serrations. That's what we are using this abrasive stone for, to apply. It's applying scratches, right? See how they're all running at an angle? They're running at that angle because that's the angle you cut. So when you're cutting into things, the material is going to enter into each micro serration, and these little tiny teeth are going to help bite into it, and then the little micro serrations help enter into it, and then the blade geometry takes over. So that's what you're doing when you're going across. So when I'm touching it like this to feel the bite. The next thing is you see me use my nail and go like this. What I'm doing there is I'm making sure there's no nicks, dings, or remaining burr. The nail trick, and you're just taking your nail and you're running the edge up it. That is the #1 best way to find out if you have any microchips. Literally, I can feel a microchip before a microscope will pick it up from my nail. And you can too. You think, no. That's why I like fixed angle systems. I can watch the scratch pattern form as I sharpen. It makes you see the difference between grits. Yes, it does. Absolutely. Also, the Benchmade M4 steel is a sick dagger. It's $4 though, so a double the price. Yeah, I love M4 though. That makes a lot of sense. Actually, thanks for explaining how, but it does look nuts. Yeah, I understand. I understand a lot of things look crazy, but it's all just indicators. You know, you're just looking for these little indicators. Now, there's also the eye test. So I'm not just going to use my fingers. I'm also going to use my eye. because my eye is going to tell me the consistency of my scratch pattern. Like we did this picture, I want my edge to look like this. It's actually going to be a lot tighter. Like the serrations are really going to be like the heel right there all the way across. So they're going to be a lot tighter, but that's what I'm looking for. I want each one to just be like a little scratch. They're actually really, really close. Now, like I said, we're done with the one side. What's up, baby?
Oh, nothing. I was just...
You just wanted to come talk some shit.
No.
I'm just joking. Oh, it looks cool. It looks good. I like it. You bringing that to the show? Or are you just wearing it here? Maybe we should get a poker game going and rob everybody.
Fuck yeah.
Just fucking annihilate them.
Yeah.
We'll set them up. Let's set the deck up. Get Bama, Seems Lodge, get everybody over there. We can get up to 7 people in a poker game.
I'm like the best worst player at poker.
Yeah,
Like,
that's the best kind to be.
I always piss off my friend Chris because like he'll like he's like he knows what's up, right? And I just can't take it serious for some reason. But my stupid suggestions work. Like he's like, don't bet like that. And I'm like, why? Let's just see what happens, and then I win.
Oh shit!
It's like annoying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not taking it serious.
That's hilarious.
He was getting mad when we were playing with fake money because that's how like outlay. He's like, you gotta pretend the money's real. I was like, I am.
It's so real to me. Let me just move that right here. All right, so I pulled out some more diamond plates because I'm done with this side. My side looks perfect. The scratch pattern is at an angle, very consistent from the heel to the tip. And when I touch it like this, I can feel that metal wire folded over. So that means I'm on the right track. And I can see my scratch pattern goes from the top of the bevel down to the apex, just like we showed here. Top of the bevel down to the apex. At an angle, if you look, see how these go at an angle? That's what we want. So we got that done. Now we want a 300 grit. This is an ultra sharp 300 grit. This is a company I also recommend. Atomas, I think, are #1 for bench stones because they're diamond clusters. So these use a diamond cluster. These are just a thin layer of diamonds over the surface. So these are built up like little pyramids, and they're more aggressive. There's more diamonds, so they last longer. There's a lot of reasons. They are expensive, but they're worth it. All right, the Damascus is made with like 10 CR. Yeah. A lot of the Damascus rolling around right now is basically like a 10 CR 440C or 10 CR 9 CR, because 9 CR and 440C are very similar. So it's basically like a mixture between that, which those two steels bond very well together. So it's actually a really good Damascus. So one problem with a lot of Damascus steels, and I have some of them, they're absolute garbage. They're trash. A lot of the Damascus knives you see on the internet or wherever, especially if they say Pakistani Damascus knives are garbage. They're absolute garbage. They don't use steels that bond very well together. So what happens is they start coming apart. They heat treat differently, because remember that the steel is supposed to heat treat. You want it to be the same throughout the blade. You don't want some parts of it soft, some parts of it hard. And if you use 2 different types of steels, that's what's going to happen. And I've sharpened knives where it literally, you can feel it. You can feel like, man, some of it feels soft, some of it feels hard. Jared has a vid comparing the different systems he has tried. Yes. I've tried more than that, but yes, I did a comparison of my favorite sharpening system. So if you want to see my top 5 favorite knife sharpening systems, if you're looking for a system instead of freehand, go and check that video out. One brand that surprised me in a good way. Oh, Cobra Tech. I don't have enough experience with them to speak about that. All right, so I'm going to do a Burr flip again. Remember, we sharpened this side last. The Burr flipped over this way, right? There's a metal wire right here that I can feel. So now we want to move that out of the way. So I'm going to do basically a stropping pass with no pressure. Anytime you do anything with the Burr, no pressure, because the Burr doesn't require pressure. When you're sharpening, it requires a little bit of pressure. Not a lot, but a little bit. We'll talk about that pressure in a second. But with Burr removal, it's no pressure. You can literally just hold the knife with 2 fingers. So, and right now I'm just getting it out of the way. Could you technically just go do a forward pass? Yeah, you could. I like to do a backwards one because it removes the burr a little more delicately and it doesn't just tear it off. If you just go forward, remember the serrations are running this direction, right? So if I run a stone up this way, see how it's hitting the serrations as it's going up? So if I go this way, it kind of folds them down. So it's just a little bit more delicate when you do it. Okay, now it's on this side because I flipped it over. So now we have it cleared on this side, and now when I drag my edge across, the burr is not going to snag the diamonds and tear them off. Just got my large Varga. Oh yeah. That Varga is done by Riat, so Riat does a pretty good job. No, 61 isn't too high for S35. S35 is great. So S35, typically a lot of companies run at 58 to 60, but you want to see it 60 to 61. That's what I want to see it at, 61, even 62 at times. So S35 is a pretty tough steel. It can handle the higher HRCs. Now, say if you're using it, say, I don't know what type of knife you're talking about, but say if it's a fixed blade, and for anybody that doesn't understand, HRC is the hardness of the steel. Every steel has a hardness level. So you can have two of the exact same steels, right? So say AUS 10 and AUS 10, right? This AUS 10 will outcut this AUS 10 because this AUS 10 has higher HRC than this AUS 10. The harder the steel, the higher the HRC, the more edge retention and the sharper the edges get. Also, the easier the burr comes off. The lower the HRC, the tougher the steel. Now, the thing is that companies have sold it to us with lies, with absolute lies. They've taught us and tried to tell us that by making it a higher HRC, it gets brittle, which that is the case when you get to the extreme levels. But when you just stay in the high HRC range, what it does is it gives you more edge stability. So it actually can, in some cases, increase the toughness a little bit. There's a balance, right? There's a balance, but it'll, a cap effect. Yeah, there you go. But it's typically, in the areas that we see and that we want and that we ask companies for, that's usually that range we want, where it's going to be the highest amount of edge retention without sacrificing too much toughness in order to get better edge stability. Because toughness is different than edge stability. Edge stability is its ability to hold a fine edge, for a long time. And toughness is like its ability to take impact, or its ability to withstand snapping. Anyone know the hardness of the Mini Tempest? I do not. What? Shut the fuck up. All right, so I've already got this side done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rip the burr off on this side. Not rip it off. Sorry, I should stop speaking like that. I'm going to fold it back over. I don't want to rip it off because if I rip it off, then it can lead to micro tear out. 61 HRC and S35 is pretty average from what you see from overseas companies. I have S35 Customs at 65 HRC, and it's amazing. Exactly. Yep. Yeah, typically you won't see 65 though, so Todd, you're pretty lucky on that one. But yeah, Customs will go up. It looks beautiful. I love it. I like it. It looks like candy in your hair. Yeah, like those. Remember those necklaces?
Oh,
the candy necklaces. Anyway, so yeah, typically custom knife makers will heat treat the steel to whatever you want. Production companies, they're heat treating a lot of knives at once, so they typically have to stay within a range that's safe for them and for their ability to actually do it, especially to get it to us at a low price. But custom knives, they will run it as hard as you want. So that's where, if you want to experience the best of the best steels, you want to get a custom knife or a custom heat treated knife. Now, not all customs are like that. I've seen a lot of shitty customs. Let me be clear, tons of shitty customs. But if you have a good maker that understands steels very well and understands high HRC and knows how to grind very well, you can get yourself a great custom knife that'll hold an edge for a very, very, very long time. Okay, let's see here. Oh yeah, we're good. I just got a little bit at the heel I want to get. There we go. All right. Got the burr. Now we are going to go, because I typically, I like to stop at 600 grit. What are we at right here? That's 600 grit for this steel. This steel is ARRPM 9 steel, which is a spray form 9CR. So it's 9CR in spray form. Total was like 305. Got it for 270. What do you think of the Kaiser Cyberblade? I'd have to look at it again. Let me look it up. Oh yeah, the Cybertruck one. You know, it's not really for me. It's kind of cool though. I like it. I mean, if you have one of those, Hinderer. You still avoiding on Tucson? I'm not avoiding them. I just wasn't gonna purchase them. I'm not avoiding them. If they wanted to send them to me, or if somebody wanted to send me one, I would check it out. I'm just not right this moment, unless if I see one that really, which I have seen a couple. I'm gonna be honest, I've seen a couple that's really almost made me pull the trigger. But yeah, I just don't want to get ripped off. It's, you know, it's like when like 5 out of 10 knives show up, have a little bit of an issue, that becomes an issue for me. You have to be a fan of Musk and in need of a key holder for that. Have you heard of DLC rating on Rockwell scales? Yes, that's what it is. It's in the 80 to 90 range typically. It can go all the way up to 90 plus HRC. That's the reason why it's called diamond-like coating, because it's as hard as the hardest things on the planet. That's why it also holds up. That's why I got K390 with DLC coating, because I wanted to make sure.
Diamond?
Diamond, yeah, exactly. Okay, so we stripped the burr off, or flipped it over. Now we're going to finish this side, 600 grit. Like I said, this is where I usually end this steel. We could take it higher, but probably not the idea, because I want to show you guys a burr removal before you guys get too bored. Then we'll switch systems. What? Why? I didn't get it.
Burr.
Oh. All right, so let me oh shit. Yeah. I did. All right, let's see here. Steve's in here. I've completely given up on Tucson spray steel. First I've heard of that. So there's regular steel, then there's spray form, and then there's powdered steel. Spray form is right in the middle. So you have regular steel, spray form, and then powdered metallurgy. Powdered metallurgy will be like the toughest form of that steel, say 154 cm. Then there's CPM 154. CPM 154 is a powdered steel of 154 cm. So basically it increases the toughness of the steel. Spray form is in the middle of that. Yes, because the grain structure is tighter.
It's like boulders versus sand.
Right. It's a tighter composition. So it mixes tighter. So spray form, it gets basically sprayed, I believe, with nitrogen or something to cool it down immediately into and it basically turns into these little tiny pebbles, I believe, in like a tank, and then it falls down a chute, and gathers up somewhere. But basically spray form, it's in between powdered steel and regular steel as far as toughness. So if you take 154 cm and you did a spray form, it wouldn't be as tough as powdered steel, but it'd be tougher than the original. So this is a spray form 9CR. How's Kershaw's D2? I really like the mini iridium that just dropped. I didn't have a problem with it. Kershaw typically does okay. You know, they did their Magna cut a little bit soft on some of their knives, but they, you know, it's right now I believe it's 62 and 62. I think they're running at 62. And I did an edge retention test on it, and it did really well. The D2 I haven't done an edge retention test on, but it's D2 is a little all over the board. So when it comes from China, it's China D2, which some of China's D2 is okay, and some of it is not. Just depending on the company that's heat treating it and so on and so on. Like Civivi does a really good job, you know, and a few other companies do a really good job with it. But then there's so many other companies using it that are just, they must be heat treating so many blades at once that they're not getting the recipe right.
Sorry.
So I gotta flip my burr, and remember this is the last burr now. So now we're gonna talk about the burr removal. The burr removal, which, like I said, is one of the most important parts of getting a good quality edge. Now remember, field sharpening, like say if you were hunting in war, whatever, and you're in the field and you need to get an edge sharp, you can absolutely get a sharp edge in literally a matter of minutes, if not seconds. You just have to know what you're doing. We are doing a full reprofiling, which does take a little bit longer. I'm also talking and goofing off and stuff, so I could have done all this like probably half the time if I wanted to. But with tuning up an edge or just getting a sharp edge fast, you can literally do it within minutes or seconds, just depending on what you're doing. All right, so I can actually flip the burr with my fingers right now. So we're gonna do a burr removal, but we're not gonna do it on this stone. We're gonna do it on this stone. Now, you know what? Let's do it on a ceramic. So I always recommend getting a diamond plate and a ceramic. 2 diamond plates, a 300, a 600. That'd be like a good setup, and then a ceramic. Now, if you really want to get a good setup, get a 140, a 300, and then a 600, and then a ceramic, or a 1200 and then a ceramic. Now, the problem with the 1200s is the diamonds do wear off pretty quickly. If you get it from Atoma, they'll last a lot longer. Atoma, remember the diamond clusters? They don't just use diamonds across the stone, they use diamond clusters. But we're gonna do a burr removal on the ceramic. Now, I could do it on the diamond plate. I could. What are you doing, baby?
Fixing it a little bit so you don't look weirdly cut off, but you're still on. I don't know, because your head's half cut off the whole time. Driving me fucking nuts.
Why do I look like this? The quality is like way low.
I don't know. That's all I was trying to fix.
Anyway, so
It's just on this end.
it's live. So what I'm gonna do is I have the ceramic. Now, can they see the ceramic? Okay. So I have the ceramic. I could do this on the stone. So you could do this exact same thing on the stone, but that doesn't help me, baby.
Well, it does a little bit. You know if you're in the ballpark.
Okay, so what you do is my burr right now is on this side. Okay, so I want to start on this side, right? Because the last side I sharpened was this side, so the burr's flipped over this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ceramic, I'm going to lay it down on the surface right here. Make sure you guys can see this. And then I'm going to take this knife, no pressure at all. Like I said before, anytime you're messing with the burr, no pressure. Remember, no pressure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do basically like a stropping pass.
Like don't worry or like no weight.
No pressure as in weight. You don't want to apply pressure. When you're sharpening, you add a couple pounds of pressure because the more muscle you put into sharpening, the faster it'll go. However, also the more likely you are to mess up. So you add as much pressure as you can do before you start getting fatigued or changing angle. So that could be very little pressure or maybe a few pounds of pressure. You don't want to typically put a lot of pressure though. Let the diamonds do the work. This is a ceramic though. This is for burr removal. You can use it for a lot of other things though. This is a finishing stone, a burr removal. You can do micro bevels on it. You can do a lot of things. You can even polish your edge with this. However, today, right now, we are removing the burr. This is incredibly hard, way harder than this steel. And it's an abrasive. So it has everything it needs to remove this burr without pressure. The burr is a very fragile little piece of wire at the apex. It's not shit. I can basically break it off with my finger if I want to. So what I'm going to do is no pressure at all. I'm going to take the very apex of the edge. The apex is the very tippity tip, the first part that cuts you. And I'm going to slide it across very gently in a reverse pass. I'm going to do it a couple times. Then I'm going to flip it over and do the other side. Now I'm going to go back and forth now. And then I'm going to do just a couple forward passes. What we're doing is we're doing burr minimization. We are removing the burr so that it reveals a nice clean apex. We're almost done, but I feel a little bit more, very little. No pressure. And the reason why you don't want any pressure is because pressure will change your scratch pattern, like we were talking about earlier. The scratch pattern, you don't want to change that. So if I apply pressure to this, that's going to mess with my micro serrations. So I want to just let the burr come off very gently. Now I'm using stroppy stuff. This one's a 1/2 micron. Stroppy stuff is the #1 stropping compound that I recommend. I have it linked down in the Neeves Knife Co store. So if you go to Neeves Knife Co, it's one of the first links in the description. This way. It's really good stuff. So I usually recommend getting 4 to 6 micron if you're only going to get one. But so what we're going to do is we are going to strop. Now, the reason why this strop is effective is because of this, not because of the leather. The leather is just a platform for the abrasive. Yes, leather can work to some extent by itself, but not really well. The abrasive, these microscopic diamonds that I just put on there, now I have to let dry, is what's doing the trick. So I will now let that dry for a second. And thank you, Todd. I appreciate it, man. How's the ceramic compared to a kitchen's typical metal burr rod? Oh, man, we'll talk all about that. Don't use a metal rod ever. It doesn't work. It sucks. The only thing they can do, and it's not much, is yeah, it's equivalent to shit. Yeah. So all they do, you can't say, let me see what I'm doing. See, I hate.
What? You need me to.
Did you move the camera or something? Because I had it centered perfectly for me to do this, but
I know I couldn't walk by so that.
It's all right.
I couldn't get into my
Back it up a little bit. That's probably, or no, because then the light.
You want me to zoom
no,
in
just no.
And then
no, I want it zoomed out. No, it's too close.
Out. Got it. Is that better for you?
No, I don't know. I can't see it until it takes 15 seconds. I'm sorry, when you move it, I can't see what you're doing. Okay, that's fine, right there. All right, so yeah, I'm getting sassy. I'm trying to do this. So I have to. So stropping, no pressure. Well, very little pressure. You had a little tiny bit, but it's only like a pound or so. Maybe not even that much. Just very light pressure. Let the abrasive do the work, and there we go. So now this is when I'm going to take my nail and I'm going to run my nail. But I'm going to talk about the rod here in a second. You run your nail up the edge, and you want to feel like wet glass. You don't want to feel any nicks or dings. If you feel any nicks or dings, that's steel that hasn't been removed that's hanging on. So like the burr is basically hanging on. So here, that was a little aggressive. So I'm going to do just a couple more passes, a few more passes. The burr is mostly completely removed. I did feel a couple little tiny hiccups, but not much. But that's what you want it to feel like. It's like wet glass, or just like glass, basically, where it's nice and slick. Sometimes, so just so you guys know, the softer the steel, the longer your burr removal will take. This is typically on the softer side of steels. It's not a super hard steel. So typically, the softer the steel, the longer it'll take to remove the burr, and the more difficult it is to remove the burr because it's a softer steel. Like I was saying earlier, that's why harder steels equal sharper edges. That was my fault. That's better. Very clean. Okay, so we got that sucker nice and sharp. Now, ceramic rods versus steel. Take your steel rods and throw them in the garbage. You can do that. You can do that right now. Right now, before we ever even finish talking about it. Right in the garbage. Just unsubscribe and then throw them in the garbage. No.
Dislike the video and tell everyone never to watch. No, that's probably not a good idea.
Thank you, Todd. Yes, I did. I posted a video on Stropping. I posted a few different shorts the past couple of days. So the reason why the metal rod sucks is because, which I have one, I think, right here. What? For videos.
You told me that if I brought one in the house,
Well, this is the only one that's allowed in the house. So, metal rod versus ceramic. Metal rod, bad. Ceramic, good. That's all you need to know. No. So the metal rod is not an abrasive. So all it has is the ability to possibly straighten. So when you have your apex, sometimes when you start using it and cutting things, the teeth will go like this. So a metal one can kind of straighten them out a little bit. That's it. That's all it does. Technically, it doesn't even really get it sharper or anything like that. So anybody sharpening a knife and trying to make it get sharper, it's not going to get it sharper. It basically doesn't do anything. Now, a ceramic will realign those teeth while also adding micro serrations to it, making it sharper, making it have more bite. It can also micro bevel, and micro beveling is where you just add a little tiny micro bevel right to the apex. You can do it super fast. Like I can literally do it right now. In seconds to just about any knife. I just don't want to do it to any knife because all these knives are pretty much new. This is a brand new knife right here too. But anyway, so like say if I take this, right? This is actually a very high edge angle. I typically would want to lower back the edge. I'm just going to do one little pass on a diamond really quick. Hopefully this doesn't backfire. So now this thing is dull as shit. Right? So a ceramic can micro bevel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a micro bevel really quick. I'm just cutting in. You know what? Let me use the, oh man, I put it over there. I was going to use the work sharp because I wanted to show you guys that work sharp over by my stuff over there, but it's fine. I don't know. If you explain what over there means, I will get it. Over by my bags. Yeah, the field sharpener. Okay. So right there without even, it should be okay. No, not yet. Maybe it is. Hang on. So it's a little bit better. We got to do a little bit more. So I didn't do light passes, but so I'm just cutting in like a little micro bevel. Now, depending on what you're doing, this was the worst case scenario because this is a very high edge angle already. So it's a little thicker. I typically would rather micro bevel something that's a little bit lower. There we go. That's a little bit better. Now it's just a couple soft passes. So before when I was micro beveling, I was adding medium pressure. Now I'm adding almost no pressure and I'm going lighter and lighter. So here is the field sharpener. Now this is something you want. Can you get me a good piece of paper? This paper's got corners and it's got like lines all in it. You know what? Here, I'll just take one of these. No, this is the same fucking thing. Yeah, give me one of those. Strap. Just set it. Well, as long as it's not nothing important. Okay. So, in a matter of seconds, it's not that great yet. Yeah, this is a bad case to do it too. Let me do a couple more. You know what? Let me do this one because this one has that angle set up and it's a little bit, oh, you know what? Actually it has a course. So this one will work a lot better. So, but typically like, and I do this all the time on camera. So that's probably the first time that it didn't do really well. And I kind of knew it wasn't gonna just because of this damn edge bevel, because this is like a 35-degree edge bevel, which is literally the worst type of edge bevel you can put on a knife. And you're probably like, well, why would they send an edge bevel like that? Because they don't really like a lot of knife companies, just because they make knives doesn't mean they understand sharpness or edges or anything like that. Right. You think so?
I do.
So I would typically grab this knife and completely reprofile it, because here, this should be okay now. It's got that one little piece. Yeah, it's not going that great. I mean, it's cutting, but not cleanly. I'm going to do this again to prove it, because this is such a bad case. Let me grab a different knife. I got an idea. I got one right here. We will grab this other, because I have two of these knives, and this knife actually came with a decent edge bevel, aside from the fact that I messed it up. This is the other one of this. Sorry. So now this one I'll cut off really quick. Those are diamonds, so it doesn't take shit to cut it off. See? It's just tearing. And now we will cut in, and this is the Work Sharp field sharpener, by the way, guys. So this is very, very fast. So I'm going to do 1, 2, just going to do a few passes per side on this one. Then I'm going to spin it and go to the fine. And this is just adding a micro bevel. So basically a micro bevel is just the fastest way to sharpen. So if you were in the field, this is how you would do this. You would literally sharpen up in seconds and get yourself a nice sharp edge really quick. Now it's not going to last a very, very, very long time, but it will last you much longer than a pull through or anything like that. See that? Much, much better. So, and what, that was only a few seconds though, you know, like, it's not like I spent like 20 minutes sitting there doing that. I literally sharpened it up in like, you know, what, 30 seconds? Paper's all tore up, but yeah, so that's how fast you can literally tune it up. And I could have spent, you know, a few more minutes on it if I wanted to, but it's just to bring back a sharp edge quickly until you can finish, like, until you can really, really sharpen it. But here, let's grab this other sharpener. You ever seen a homemade sharpening rod made from a high pressure sodium light bulb? Actually, you know, it's funny you said that. My dad used to have these sharpening rods that were made out of the glass like that. And they worked. They were kind of like a ceramic rod. You can think of them the same thing as like a ceramic rod. But the thing is that you gotta, like, you just gotta understand how to use it, just like these, right? These work extremely, extremely well. I recommend everybody to have one of these. Everybody should have one, because it has diamond plates, so you can do a full sharpening on this, and you can hone on it, and you can do serrations, and it has the angle built in. So if you look, this is the angle. It has it built in for you. See that? These are like 33 bucks, and it comes with removable diamond plates, so you can replace them, and a stash spot. So it's, you know, just a really good, and this is a coarse right here, so it's a coarse diamond. So like this one, I could literally resharpen right now, since it wasn't working really good. I could literally resharpen it right now on this system, and I could do it fast. Apparently it's lightweight Pyrite FR. Yes, sorry. This is the CJRB Pyrite Light. It's I'm not sure if it's available yet. I just did a video on it, but they'll be available very soon. What? The Pyrite? Why didn't they? They shit the bed on that one, didn't they? I've had this one for a couple of years now. You can literally watch my first video on it. It was like 3 years ago. So that's how long this diamond plates lasted. Yes, I will have to replace them soon at some point, but I can tell you what, I've gotten way more than my money's worth out of it. Flip over to the other side. I'm just showing you how fast you can sharpen on this thing. And this is a full sharpening. Like, this isn't just me honing or maintaining the edge. This is me literally basically reprofiling. I just didn't go down to a super low angle, but it's lower than what it was. So it's going to be sharper than it was because it was not sharp. From the factory, it was not sharp. I'm probably going to have to bitch about that in the first impressions. Wally World sells them. Don't buy it from Wally World. Buy it from my damn link. I have the Worksharp link down there in the description. If you go to the Neeves Knives store with sharpening supplies, so the Neeves Knives store and sharpening supplies, not Neeves Knife Co., Neeves Knives store, down in the description. The Worksharp's down there. You can get it right now. Okay, so now I need to do my burr removal. I'm just going to do alternating passes. Oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have did that high of an angle. Trying to do this fast for you guys. Okay, we're ready. So look at that. So remember, it wouldn't even cut before, even after honing it. So now, look at that. That's really sharp. That's a full sharpening right there. There's a piece of paper. Oh shit, this one's got folds all in it, so from We Knife Co. This will cut paper towel for sure. It's sharp enough for that. So, and how long did that take? You know, Worksharp field sharpener, get one, $30-something. And like I said, you can replace everything. The strop, you can reload it. The only problem, the only negative, and it's not even a problem, by the way, I just want to be clear. The one downside, I would say, is that the abrasive that comes on the strop is a silicon carbide or an aluminum oxide based compound. I prefer diamonds, so what I do is I strip that off and I put my own piece of leather on there. A couple dabs of super glue, put the leather on there, and then I can just literally spray my own compound on there. I did use the green stuff, though, for like 3 years. I literally replaced this today. So I was adding the aluminum oxide or chromium oxide stuff for this whole time. It was thanks to you, I learned knife sharpening. I'm now starting a business. Hell yeah. Jesus is king, by the way. And that's amazing, man. Good for you. Damn, that worked out pretty good, didn't it? Yeah, I'm telling you, man, this is, it already has the angles built in there for you. So you just take it like this. I'll make sure you guys can see this. So you take it like this, hold it like that, and just let it drop down. Once it hits like that, that's your angle. So now you just have to hold that as you go across. The same thing is on this side. Then when you get to this, it has the same thing. Angles are built in for you. Now, if you want to lower it, you can. So what I do when I really want to lower it, I'll still use this, but I'll put the spine lower. And I'll just make sure I put it at the same spot every time. It's super easy. Once you start getting the hang of it, you can go all the way down to 17 degrees accurately. You know, just because like right there, that's a low angle. So that's a really good edge angle right there. Now, if I move up to here, that's a high angle. That's 20 degrees. So, which is not a bad angle for a knife. I'm just saying it's much higher than 17. So, and then you have the strap built in, and then you have a little thing for ceramics, and you have this that you can spin for doing fish hooks. So this is for fish hooks, and then this is a course. So this is, you know, basically if you need to hone an edge really fast, like a chef knife or something really quick, just order one from the link. Thank you, EB. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for the support, man. That means a lot to me. Thank you so much. It always helps the channel when you guys use the links. You know, I like to use affiliate links from companies. That way I can recommend what I want because there's no agreement. There's no agreement to say anything. If a company sends me, I bought this, but if a company sends me something, they don't ask for anything. They already know better than to ask for anything. They can't ask for anything. So what they do is they send it with the highest hopes that I'm going to like it. And if I like it, then I can recommend it. And if I recommend it, people will buy it and people will use my link. However, if I don't like it, I just recommend something else. Like if I didn't like this, I would recommend one of my other ones. You know what I mean? If I didn't like this compound, I'd recommend a different compound, which I have. If I don't like this diamond plate, I'll recommend, you know what I mean? I just recommend something else. And I'll say, this stuff's not that good, but this one's really good. You know, so it allows me to be a lot more honest. Now, that's not saying I wouldn't take a sponsorship from certain companies, but I have to already approve of them, really like them, and be, you know, saying that their product's good before that. White Mountain Knives has them in stock right now. They also have the Mega Run Access Lock. That's pretty sweet. Takes the teeth. Oh shit. Take the teeth off my 600 grit finish, and I need to hit the 1200 stone with that strap. Can we get a counterattack 1-2 review? Excellent daggers. No, but I'll tell you what. I'll give you guys a sneak peek. How about this? This is a bad mamma jamma right here. This is designed by Bob DeMarco from Knife Junkie. You guys can go watch his channel, knifejunkie.com. Made by T. Kelp. This is the same company that made my first fixed blade, USA made, and this is a double-edged, basically like a bayonet style blade shape. Couple things about this. One, this thing is absolutely like an assassin's knife. This thing is crazy good. Double edged, so you can swipe back and forth. The grip right here is literally the perfect length for either grip. So if you're going to back fist or plunge. But one thing I really like about this is this thing has insane, man, you guys can't even see me very good. Insane throwing ability. So I threw it. So I started off at like 3 feet, then went to 5 feet, then went to about 7 feet, then went to 10 feet. I never missed the target, not one time. And I mean, accurate as all hell, just because of this, how it's a straight back right here. So anytime when you throw, you guys can go watch videos on this, but when you throw, you use your finger as like a guide, and depending on the distance, you depend on where you let it go. So either let it go lower or higher, and you just kind of let it roll down your finger like that. And that's for a no spin. This thing is insanely accurate. One of the most accurate knives I've tried in a long time. The sheath, you can hear that. Really, really good. Hey, someone throw in 5 bones. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it, man. Been practicing like crazy, watching your new and old videos. Some days are frustrating, but I'm getting better all the time. Thanks, Jared. Good for you, man. Keep it up. Keep it up, man. Watch my most recent videos as much as possible, because my videos are much higher quality and I have the ability to edit and stuff. When I first started, I didn't have the ability to edit, at least not very well. So I didn't have the ability to add in details that I would have liked to. So I appreciate the support, man. Thank you so much. Hi, what would you recommend for a good sharpening tool? 2 diamond plates, a 300 and a 600, and then a ceramic rod and a strap. That's what you want. I actually just did a sharpening video called Sharpening Beginner's Tutorial or something like that. And basically I tell you in that video to get a 300 grit diamond plate, a 600 grit diamond plate, and then get a ceramic rod and a strap. And if you get that, you're good to go. You will have very, very good quality edges. Now you can add on, you can add to that in the future if you want to. You know, you can add here, add there, whatever you want to do. Like if you wanted to add a 1200 grit, or if you wanted to add like a 140 reprofiling stone, like this is, if you're sharpening fixed blades, or if you're sharpening things that have damages or that are very, very, very dull, which the majority of you probably are, you want to start off with something like this, a 140. A 300 grit you could use, it'll work great. But a 140, this will make light work out of hard work. Especially like with fixed blades, they're thick. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are really thick behind the edge. And those, anything thick takes a lot longer. I seen the knife you're designed on Sasha 23. Oh, did he drop it? Oh, I gotta go watch that. Hell yeah. Can't wait to see that one. That's awesome. All right, let me pull out this other sharpener really quick. All right, let's see if you guys can see this now. Let me take a little sip of my special coffee. He dropped it, man. Oh, man, I can't wait. Can't wait. You mean he dropped my knife or he dropped the video? Hopefully he meant the video. If he dropped the knife, that's okay. That's all right. We'll be all right. Cutco, the best and sharpest pocket knife I ever had. Well, I got to imagine that you might not have very sharp knives. Not trying to be a dick, but the best knives, the sharpest knives are going to typically come from a very reputable company. Spyderco does really sharp edges, but the sharpest are going to be like Rockstead. Rocksteads are like $1,200. I have 2 of them, and those have 0 grinds on them. So basically, the entire blade is the edge bevel, and it is hair whittling out of the box. Hey, Low Country Hillbilly with the 5 bones. You should sell your select sets for various skill levels in the store. Well, the thing is that, yeah, you're right. I probably should, but I'll say this. The same thing I would recommend to a beginner is the same thing I'd recommend to a pro. Diamonds, diamonds, diamonds all day long. I would recommend diamonds in the ceramic. So now for like a serious pro, I would say resin bonded diamond or hybrid diamonds or metallic bonded diamonds, some sort of diamond bond. And all that means is that they have like a resin, and inside the resin, there's diamonds. So as the resin wears down, the diamonds are exposed. Unlike a diamond plate, which once these wear off, it's just metal. So you need the diamonds on the surface to be an abrasive. With a resin or a hybrid, it's infused in the stone. Oh, man, we got a $20 donation from Shadow, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Just got into sharpening. I got a Workshop Professional Precision Adjust. Was curious, Neeves Knives, is 3M lapping paper worth investing in for edge refining? Or is it better to just work with leather, with compound and ceramic? I'll be honest with you, Shadow. Neither one. What you want to do is you have, let me see, the Professional Precision. Okay, this is what you want. This is the system you have. Right there. Let's move this. This is the system you have. Let me grab the thing that you have to get. Oh, it's right here in my hand. You want this. This is what you want. So get this. This is a aftermarket stone holder attachment, and go watch my video on tips and tricks on this. So you take this, put this right over that like that, and now guess what, homie? You can use any stones you want. You can use Neeves, you can use ceramics, you can use fine stones, ultra fine, super toothy, super whatever stone you want, because 1x6 inch stones, almost every single stone comes in. So like right there, bam, there's a Neeves. It's like it's not a Neeves. Sorry, this is not a Neeves. This is like a Neeves. It's a resin bonded diamond stone. This is from USA market, made in Ukraine. But this is a very expensive stone. This is a diamond. Now, like I said, you can do any of them. You can do ceramics. Then check this out. Now you can get all different stropping compounds in different strops, right? So this is what you want. Hapstone link down in the description. This should be available right now. If they're not, check out my Grit-O-Matic store in the Neeves. Just go to the Neeves Knives Store and Sharpening Supplies and type in Grit-O-Matic in the search bar. It should pop up. I'm not sure if they have them on their Amazon site. Hapstone does have them, but if they're out of stock right now, they'll be back in stock in like 2 weeks. They usually put them back in stock pretty quickly, but they do sell out pretty quick because, hey, I would, with this system's amazing, but it is damn good when you get that, because that just basically turns this thing into like a Hapstone or a TS Pro or a KME. Well, better than a KME, because KME uses 1x6, or sorry, 1x4, and this is 1x6. So that's what I would recommend you do. The lapping films, they work, but you know, they work. So I don't want to knock the lapping films. So if you want to try some lapping films, try it out. But if you want to get serious, get this, because this is going to change your sharpening system into the most professional system it could possibly be. This is the one thing that is lacking. And I said this in my review. You can go watch my review. I said it before I ever even got this. Before the company made this because of what I said. I'm sure. Maybe they didn't, but I'm pretty sure they did. What? What? Well, I was the first one to review it, and I was the first one to say it. And then 2 weeks later, a guy got a hold of me and made a plastic version on Etsy because I said it. And then this guy came out and I said this was going to happen, and it did. And then I featured the plastic one in my tips and tricks video. And then I featured this one ever since, because this is aluminum. This one's really professional. But yeah, that's what you want, man. That will change everything about that system. But thank you, man, for the 20 bones, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, you definitely want to get good leathers, good compounds. You know, like I said, I prefer stroppy stuff. You can go with gunny juice, stroppy stuff. I tend to stay away from the Amazon cheap stuff, unless if it's from gunny juice. But stay away from just like cheap no-name emulsions, because they tend to be not very concentrated. So what's your sharpening system is the most versatile? This one. This is the K03. The K03 is the ultimate sharpening system you can buy. Top of the line. Very expensive. However, the best. This is a system that will do pretty much anything. This is not even the clamp that comes with it. This is another clamp that they sell that I got with it. The clamp actually is a clamp that it gets really wide, so you can do like big fixed blades. I got it just sitting right over there. We only need this one right now because we are going to sharpen some K390, baby. I want to sharpen some motherfucking K390. We got to go to the show representing the Neeves Knives Edge. And I wanted to pull out a system in this video. I'll try to do as much different types of sharpening as possible, because I know not everybody wants the same type of sharpening. You know, some people want to see field sharpeners, some people want to see maintenance tools, some people want to see freehand, some people want to see elite systems like this one right here. Then yes, this is top of the line. This is the system that will be your end all be all and will probably last you a lifetime. That's one of the problems with sharpening systems, is a lot of times the parts, like, most of them are all expensive. But the cheaper you go, the more frustrations you have. The cheaper you go, the least it'll be able to do. The cheaper you go, the more likely it is to break. The cheaper you go, the more likely parts are to wear out. The cheaper you go, the harder it'll be to clamp. Literally everything becomes more difficult. So you know what? We're going to use the new sharpening stones. So don't tell anybody about these stones. These are hyper elite. These are brand new stones. They're not even on the market, so don't ask. We're testing stones out. If you guys really want to know, they're hybrid stones. So these are hybrid diamonds. Basically, it's a mixture between a resin and a metallic bond. So there's metallic bond, there's resin bond, and then there's petrified. Then there's hybrid. This is a hybrid. So with hybrids, you can use lubrication, or you don't have to if you don't want to. I don't want to, so I'm not gonna. And we're gonna take K390 up to 5,000 grit. Now, typically, I have my little charger over here. I know this is about 17 degrees, so I'm just gonna leave it. It's probably 16.8 degrees. So just assume I changed the angle and put it to the angle I want. I just want to make sure you guys can see this. So yeah, somebody was saying earlier that the cool thing about a sharpening system like this is that you get to watch the stone put the grit on the edge. So you get to watch the scratch pattern, which is completely true. You get to literally watch everything that happens to your edge in real time. So if you make a mistake, you'll see it in real time, which this also takes out a lot of that. It takes out a lot of issues. Can you grab me a paper towel, baby, please? It takes out a lot of problems that you could have. So one thing I will say is anytime you're using a fixed angled system, the most important part is the tip. When you come across right here, don't go far. If you go, thank you, baby. If you go past the tip, the stone will roll over the tip and will roll your tip, and it will take you a very long time to get that out, possibly a few sharpenings. So you want to stop the tip by the middle of the stone. Don't go past it. I sometimes don't even hit the middle. As soon as the side of this stone hits the tip, I'm done. Bam. Just because I don't want to risk going past that tip. Now, the heels can be a little frustrating as well. And typically to get those, what I'll do is I'll angle my stone like this. I'll angle it like that, and I'll go to the corner and I'll go like that just a little bit. But that's if it's like really being troublesome. So if you guys don't know, this is my own knife design with Reat in K390 steel, which is my all-time favorite steel, at least at the moment. I love this steel. Freaking amazing. One of the best steels on the planet. The only downside is that it doesn't have the best corrosion resistance. However, whoa, what is that? I don't know what kind of currency that is, but that's 1,000 of something. Thank you, Santi. I appreciate it, man. My wife is, your wife's a gun also. And I make Damascus steel knives. We are from Argentina. Great job. Well, man, I appreciate it, Santi, and shout out to you, man. You make Damascus steels. That's awesome. Hopefully you do a good job. We were talking about Damascus steels earlier and how some of them are very shitty. Now, some of them are really good. It just depends on the steels you're making it with. Like we were talking about earlier, how the 10CR 440C mixture is really good. Damascus steel, if you guys don't know, the best of the best Damascus on the planet is Damascus steel. And the reason why is because it's RWL34, which is basically a CPM 154 mixture, but it has the most tightest grain structure. It's a powdered steel. So what it is they take powdered metallurgy steels and they blend it together so it makes one billet. So instead of it being a mixture of two steels together, it's literally a mixture together to equal a one billet. So, which they always equal one billet. But what I mean is that it's mixed together to where there's no separations in steels. However, even the grain structure is so tight that there's no separation of steels, but the etching still reveals the layers of steel. And Ars, thank you for the 200. My wife is gun also. Cheers from Argentina. Cheers to you, man. Thank you for the super chat, man. I greatly appreciate it. I'm glad these ones on this live actually pop up because a lot of them don't. What's up, baby? Oh, that looks really good too. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. K390 is awesome. Just you take care of it. Yeah, so the one cool thing about mine is it comes with, or you can get it with, DLC, diamond light coating. That's what's on this one. Now, there will be plain versions as well. I personally don't have a problem with corrosion on my K390. However, some people do because they're in different locations, right? In a lot of places that are dry, you're not gonna have to worry about it either. But not that I'm in a dry place, but I just don't really worry about corrosion too much. However, some people do. So if you are worried about it, you can get the DLC, diamond light coating, which is the best coating you can get on a blade. The best of the best. So we got the best steel and the best coating on the planet. Now, what's wrong? I don't know. What was I saying? Diamond-like coating. DLC. Diamond-like coating. Yes. No. L-I-K-E. Yeah. So, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, when you're sharpening like this and you're sharpening with diamonds, you're sharpening on a fixed angle system like this, you don't want to add a lot of pressure. Just very little. Just a little bit of pressure, just enough to make the diamonds cut into the steel. You can just let the weight of the stone do it if you want, which will let the stones or the diamonds do the work. If you add a little bit of pressure, it'll go a little bit faster, but typically you don't want to add pressure because you don't want to make this bend out. You don't want to bend and flex and things like that. So with freehand, you can apply a little bit more pressure because you don't have to worry about those things. This is a serious clamp though, so I'm not worried about this thing moving or changing or anything like that, but with some systems you do. So you wind up getting the habit of not, you know, applying too much pressure. Can you guys see that? Oh man, I'm sorry guys. You guys can't even see what I'm doing. What a dick. What? No, it's good. I just needed to move it a little bit for him and do it sideways. Okay, so now I'm going to go to this side. I'm going to do a little tiny bit more on this side because there's a little bit at the tip that it didn't get. That I'll probably just have to get on the second sharpening. We'll see. Yeah. That tip's a very pokey. This is, by the way, a very thin blade. So this is not only an incredible super steel. Like the reason why I designed this, you know, me being a knife guy, I obviously designed it for knife guys. This is as knife guy as you can get. K390, DLC, 95 thousandths blade stock thickness. It's probably going to be around 92 thousandths from when I do the production run, down to like 7 thousandths, 8 thousandths behind the edge. You know, at the most it'll probably be is like 10 thousandths. This thing is so thin, it is a laser beam. This thing will cut you just looking at it. Ow! I'm on the edge with the 10 bones. Thank you, man. I appreciate it, brother. Hey, all feeling good that I survived getting hit by a stock car on the track Saturday. No, I wasn't in a car. Just me versus the farm truck. He was running down the track and got ran the over. What? Yeah, kind of like the video she showed me last night, but it wasn't him. But he did message me and told me what happened to him. I'm glad you're all right, man, because that could have been a lot worse. You know, I grew up you know, with my family racing, and I've seen a lot of horrific accidents. I've seen a lot of everything. So you know, I know how serious it can get. Yes, the cop that ran that kid over, or dude. Yeah, subdued him by running him into a brick wall. What? Yeah. Yeah, it's TICN. Mr. Williams is coming on my Enduro. I got DLC on my M4 Max. Dustin just became a Rockstead member. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it, man. We do, just so you know, for the members, we do 2 live sharpenings a month that are a lot better than this because these are vertical, so you'll get a wide screen and you'll be able to see a lot more and it'll be higher quality. But we do 2 lives and we give multiple knives away twice a month. So each live we do, we give lots of stuff away. And I'm talking about knives, like great knives. Like last week, I think the knife that we gave, how much was the first place knife? I think it was like $300 or something. And that was just one of them. I can see it from here. I think it's a Wii or something. I forget. What? If they're a Rockstead for a year, yes. If you are a Rockstead for 1 year, you automatically win a knife. What does that mean? No, yeah, consecutively. Yes, you have to be a Rockstead for an entire year all at once. And if you do that, you will automatically get a knife. And to be honest, so far, the knives we've given away, the guys probably didn't even pay as much as the knife was worth. And if you're wondering, well, how the hell do you sustain that? How the hell are you giving away knives worth more money than you're receiving from memberships? Because companies send them to me. Because I'm reviewing out pay for knives. But yeah, because companies send them to me, so it's a win-win for me. Yes, obviously I could just sell them, right? And I will do that. Like, I'm not saying I won't be doing that, but it gives me the ability, because I love giving back to the community. I love giving back to you guys. I love hanging out with you guys. I love doing this with you guys. I love giving people opportunities to get cool shit. So, you know, I get a lot of opportunities doing what I do. So I love giving it back to you guys. So it gives me the ability to do that for you guys.
You remember early on when sometimes some people like, can I have a knife? And you'd be like, okay.
All right.
You can't because it's unfair. But
Yeah, now it's too hard, because what happened was that literally every live I did, somebody would come in and give me because like I sent, like, I don't even know, dozens of knives to just random people saying, hey, can you give me a knife? And they'd be like, all right, what's your address? But then it got to the point to where they were like telling each other or something. And like literally every video I had people coming in saying that and doing that. So people get greedy. Typically I was doing it for like young people just getting into knives, or people, you know, that just wanted to try out a cool knife or something, you know. I have no problem. Yeah, sometimes I would just do it randomly. Like, hey, get a hold of me.
It was always confusing though, because sometimes I'd forget, and like when I'd answer the message, I'd be like, wait, what?
What?
You didn't even do a giveaway.
Jared, did you give away a knife?
Well, I was there.
Probably. I'm on the edge. Upgraded memberships to the Rocksteads. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
No, you don't get a
Yeah, don't think it's going to be a Rockstead, by the way. I'm not saying I would never give, because we've already given away a Rockstead, by the way, guys. I don't know if you guys know that. We've given away Shirogorovs, Hinderers, Rocksteads, all kinds of Wee knives, Riats. We've literally given away everything.
You did give away a TS Prof system, right?
I've given away TS Prof systems. Yep. I've given away literally so much. Like the Rockstead we gave away was like a $2,000 rock, or $1,500. It was a $1,500 Rockstead. That was one fucking knife. And listen, whoever won that, which was actually a younger kid who won that one, that could have been rent for him. And I mean, like literally, he might have been like literally like on his last like dollar, like needing rent money. And it's like, to win that, you literally just instantly got your rent money, because those things would be so easy to, as long as you're willing to lose a couple $100 or something, you know, those things would be so easy to sell like within minutes.
Somebody I gave a knife to literally knows we're so cool like that, like how it's given to you, do whatever you want with it. So he was like, hey, like, how can I sell this? I was like, just let me know, I can help you sell it.
Yeah.
That's literally something I gave him. I'm like, I don't care.
Yep.
It's a no strings attached.
Yep. Yeah, I tell everybody that. I don't care what you do with it. You can sell it, you can trade it, you can break it. I don't give a shit what you do with it. I'm just happy you had the opportunity to win it, and whatever that means for you. If that means money in your pocket, or whatever, content, or just whatever, to have a cool knife. But we do give away really cool knives twice a month to the members. Like I said, the last one, I don't even know. I think it was 2 premium knives. Yeah, 2 premium knives and 1 budget knife, or, you know, mid-range knife. Depends on what you think budget is. I think it was like a $70 knife or something. The premium knives were like, one was like $160 and the other one was like 3 something, I think. I don't remember.
The other night,
the week before, the live before that, though, we gave away 4 knives.
Then there was the whole box.
Oh yeah, we gave 32 knives away very recently. And shit, today we gave all these knives away. 11 knives. You guys missed that. You guys shit the bed on that one. But no, yeah, we gave away, ooh, damn it. We gave away 11 knives to one person today. Hopefully he collects it, because he does still have to get a hold of me. Hopefully he sees the giveaway. I'm guessing he's not gonna.
Name you recognize?
What?
Was it a name you recognize?
Nope. No, it was not. That's why I don't think I'm going to, because usually, typically, if I don't recognize the name whatsoever, there's a high likely chance that they're not even going to watch the giveaway. They're just going to, I believe. A couple days. I mean, we're going on this trip, so technically I'll probably fucking, hopefully he does it soon. I don't, because otherwise it's going to be difficult for me to do it again until I get back. Yeah, otherwise it'd be like, yeah, like the 11th or something, 12th. So, sorry I haven't been talking about sharpening. We've been talking about everything else. I'm going through all these stones. I'm at 3,000 grit right now, about 3,500 grit. And it is very polished. It is very shiny. You notice I've been going through a lot of stones. This is very thin behind the edge, so this thing actually sharpened up a lot faster than it probably seems. I've been spending a little bit more time on it than I need to, just because there's a couple imperfections. Being a prototype, that's of course. So I've been just kind of getting them out. But I don't need to do that. Like typically I won't do that. Typically I'll save that for the next sharpening because I don't want to remove steel that's not going to do anything for me. Like say if there's literally a little tiny nick in the edge, like not like a ding in the edge where there's like at the apex, but like say if there's like a shadow in the edge, like that the steel's or that the stone's not hitting, I'm not going to waste a year's worth of steel to get that out typically. I will let that come out just naturally as I sharpen. This is 5,000 grit now. And these are hybrid bonded or hybrid diamond bonded stones. Or hybrid bonded diamond stones, whatever you want to call them. Or no, sorry, hybrid bonded CBN. Yeah, CBN, which CBN is basically diamond. It's just a little less hard, but supposedly it does better for sharpening. Now we're going to do the burr removal. So if you guys remember the freehand sharpening we did, remember we did the stropping passes. So now we're going to go back and forth. We're at our final burr. So we sharpened one side, the burr was on this side. If you rewind to the beginning, I explained a lot more in sharpening. I kind of flew through this one because we were kind of bullshitting. I feel like a dick now because I'm supposed to be teaching you guys this. But I did talk a lot about sharpening in the beginning and everything. Ooh, thing's loose. Everything, hopefully that didn't mess me up. Everything is basically the same. The difference is just that this holds the knife instead of my hand. Okay, now I'm going to do like 1 or 2 forward passes. And that's just reassuring I remove all, and I can feel it actually got a little bit off. Not much because it is 5,000 grit. Okay, now we need to strop. We need to strop it. This is 1 micron. And I don't have to change angle because this is the same thickness as the stones I sharpen with. That's one cool thing when you don't have to do that. Let's see how sharp this fucker is. I bet it's sharp as hell. Being K390. Let's get this rod out of the way. Whoo! Yes, that is incredibly sharp. Holy shit. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is. See, this is another level of sharpness. This is what I mean about K390, man. K390. You guys see that? That was paper towel, that's why. Look at that. Yeah, well, listen how smooth this is then. That doesn't here stick to you. That was because the way I was doing it. Yeah, it's very. Look at that. That was my fault. Nope, ripping it the wrong way. I'm grabbing a piece. But yes, this thing is very, 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 very sharp. Look at that. In order to cut paper towel like that, paper towel is the best. Wow, that is sharp. Paper towel is literally the #1 way to test an edge. Why is that? Well, because it has fibers, and the fibers are very difficult to cut with a dull edge cleanly. And I don't mean like cut like tearing, I mean cutting cleanly, right? Damn it, that is sharp. Whew. This is absolutely hair whittling. Like this will just annihilate a hair. Like a hair, it'll look like the blade is on fire if I touch a hair. It'll literally just burn right through it. Now, the reason why the paper towel is the #1 is because paper towel has fibers. So in order for a knife to cleanly cut this, it has to be sharp enough, low angle, sharp enough to split it, yet toothy enough to catch the fibers. If the edge is slick, like this knife right now, even though I just sharpened this probably won't cut cleanly. Like it'll kind of tear through a little bit because the angle's not low enough. Like, see if I try to go fast, how it'll just like kind of tear. Even though that's a very sharp edge, that's a very, very sharp edge, but it's just not sharp enough. And the bite. So the bite is the teeth. That's the micro serrations that you can see when you sharpen an edge. So yeah, it feels like wet glass when you run your nail up it. Man, that's so sharp. It literally just takes skin off just touching it. So the teeth, if it doesn't have teeth, so if it doesn't have bite, it'll slip. So literally it'll just slip off the cut. It'll literally do this. So it'll just go like this. So you won't be able to cut it. Now, if it has too much bite, it'll tear it. That's what was just happening just a minute ago with this one. It has too much bite at a too high of an angle. So it's not sharp enough. But if you have the right amount of bite, like literally the perfect amount of bite at the perfect angle, literally a perfect edge bevel, then it can cleanly cut through paper towel. So that's why it's such a good way to test an edge. Listen to it. It's like quiet. It's like a ghost. I keep hitting the split in the paper because these are all folded up. This was sent to me folded. You can hear it. It's so damn quiet. Is Stasa in here? Shout out to Stasa23 if he's in here. Definitely go and check out his channel. Zachariah in here throwing some bombs, it looks like. Oh, shit. Did you say someone dropped a video on your knife? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Stasa23. So definitely go and check it out. I'm wondering what he's going to say. He might not like it. He might say a lot of bad shit. He might dog me out. Even though we're about to stay in the same Airbnb. He might be, all right, let me see here. Ooh, oh shit, man. This thing is so easy. Just go to, will it cut the glue strip off of a rolling paper hanging on a string? It probably will. If I can go grab a paper towel, do I have one sitting here? If I had one sitting here, I'd cut a paper towel roll in half. Because it'll do that real fast. No, I know he's not going to dog it, but I want him to be honest with me. I don't want anybody to review my knife and think that I want them to say something good about them. I want them to literally tell me how they feel. Thing is that me and Stasa already like the same things in knives, so it's a high likely chance he's going to love it because me and him are knife guys, right? Like I said, this is a knife guy's knife. Laser beam geometry. This is not for hard use. This is not for somebody to go and fucking pry nails up with. This is made for precision. This is made for cutting. This is made for edge retention. So this is going to stay sharp for a very long time. Not only, especially this sharpness, not only is it going to stay sharp for a very long time, it's going to be easy to sharpen. Like right now, this sharpening, you've seen how fast that went. I told you guys, I was messing around. I was spending a lot longer on the stones. I could have sharpened this in half the time. So because it's so thin, the thinner the edge, the faster it goes. So even with K390, I can sharpen this faster than 440C at 20 thousandths behind the edge because this is only like 8 thousandths behind the edge. Next thing is it has fidget friendly action and it has that nice ting to it. You guys hear that ting? So very ergonomic, 90 thousandths blade stock thickness. It's literally everything a knife guy wants in a knife. Made by Reat, K390 DLC coating. So it's got one of the best steels on the planet with the best coating on the planet. It's literally top tier, top tier, top tier. And trust me, guys, this is something I could easily have asked $600 for. And I'm doing my best to sell them at $300. And I'm not exaggerating about that 600. I 100% could have asked for that, just like Custom Knife Factory or whatever. But I'm not, because I want to get this into, I want my first knife design to end up in knife guys' hands, and I want them to be able to afford it. I don't want them to feel like I've ripped them off. And that doesn't mean we're going to be able to do that every single time with the knife designs we release, but you know, we're going to do our best. We're going to try the best we can. I'm not being greedy out here. Yes. So they first, when I first asked them, they said no, but then they came back to me a few days later and said that they can do it. So they must have contacted a company. They probably always had a company that they could reach out to. It's fucking Reat, right? Reat has connections. Let's just be clear. Reat can do whatever they want. They probably just typically didn't want to for whatever reason. But then when I asked them, they said no. I'm guessing the owner or whatever got back to me and said, no, you should probably do it for him. And then they reached out to a company and got it done. Do you have a video about cutting in your own trailer? Yes, I do. I actually do. Yeah, you can go check that out. I have videos on everything. You and Stasha are the only ones I watch. Y'all, the realest in the game. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. $300 is going to be the new sweet spot. $300? People don't even, I know people hear $300 and they're like, well, that's fucking, I could buy a fucking pistol for that. That's what I hear a lot. You don't know how good of a deal that is for everything here. With lower grade materials, Reats normally sell for $350. For an example, this knife right here, Sharp by Designs, this is $350 in M390. M390 doesn't cost as much as K390. M390, K390. No DLC, DLC. The DLC automatically brings it up. So you gotta, like, if you start putting all that stuff into consideration, and the fact that I'm a designer, so it's an OEM project, and I got a partner. And Kara's going to get her 10%. You know that. It's a joke. Do you know anyone that wants a 5-pound block of S35 yen? A 5-pound block? I would say, why don't you try reaching out to a knife maker? Reach out to any knife maker out there. Try Steve Kalari, maybe him. But he probably wants to buy them in billets. I don't know how big's the block, because I'd say probably not unless it's in thin slices. Yeah, no layaway, because these things will be sold out too fast. I won't have time to do that. Like, if I'm in the future, maybe in the future we might open that up. But we can't do that with this one. This is my first folding knife design. A different knife design might drop first because another company I'm working with, but it's my design, but it's not my knife. If you guys understand what that means, it's my design with another company. It's the company's knife. So the company's doing all the odds and ends. Hey, Jared, my cousin was looking for a $300 to $400 manual USA made knife. Got any recommend? Yes, absolutely. So depends on the locking system you want, but just to give you some, Spartan Harsey folder. That's a good one. You might be able to find a Chris Reeves on the secondary market for around that price. Tactile is a good company. I like the Tactile Archer. That's $600, but they do have the Tactile Chupacabra for like $250. Now, I personally would wait for them to add better jipping to the lock bar. I think I'm going to Blade Show and I'll see if they did fix it. But another one would be something from Hogue. Hogue does really good work. What? Now, well, I'm going to tell my number one. My number one choice is going to be a Spyderco. Get a Spyderco from Golden, Colorado. This is where you will get the ultimate steels. Even steels The same steel that's on my knife from this company is better. Hands down. 65 HRC, 63 HRC, big fucking difference. So, Spyderco. This is Rex 45 on this one. You can get, this is a lightweight. So this is only like 140 bucks right here. But they have other knives from Spyderco that are close to 300 bucks for some super steels like K390. Rex 121 just came out on a model, which is the #1 steel on the planet as far as edge retention goes. It holds the longest edge. Not saying it's the best steel on the planet, but it's the longest edge holding steel. But they use Magna Cut. They got some Magna Cut steels, which is arguably one of the best steels on the planet right now. So yes, check out something from Spyderco. I do appreciate that you're trying to keep the price down because I already spent over 10 grand on a bunch of awesome knives over the past 8 months. And saving hundreds here and there helps. Yes, it absolutely does. Hopefully you're going to Blade Show. Manix 2, in my opinion, is one of the best budget knives ever made. Absolutely. Yes, this would be considered a budget knife from a USA company, but the best budget knife. Strong locking system, great action, amazing action, and it's tough as nails. Tough as nails, super tough lock, and it's Rex 45, this one. This one's a GP Knives exclusive. There's a few left. Blade HQ has an M4 version available. There's a lot of different versions of this, of the lightweight, but they also make them in G10 for a little bit more money. So you can get different versions of this. And then if you really wanted to, you can get aftermarket scales, like from Original Goat or something like that, and make it into a titanium knife if you want to. Lots of options with Spyderco, just about anything you buy. Now, if you want to get something really good, I recommend the PM2 in crew wear. That shit, that steel right there, my goodness, does it get sharp. Ask, what knife do you recommend for a utility knife? I live in Patagonia, Argentina, and I need a knife that can withstand punishment and remain sharp. So then you want a replaceable bladed knife, unless if you're talking about a utility blade. So there's two different things there. One, you can get a utility blade that has replaceable blades. So the Olatans is something I would recommend. Olitans. Go watch my video on it. It's a replaceable bladed knife. It's a titanium knife. So it has a titanium frame lock, just like my knife right here. Titanium frame lock for like 54 bucks. Comes with 3 blades, and you can buy extra blades for like 10 bucks. So the 3 blades, it's one serrated blade, a sheep's foot blade, which is basically like a utility blade, and then a drop point blade. And you can switch them out really quick. So when one goes dull, you can switch it out. And then since it's 9CR 18 MOV steel, you can sharpen them. So, and they're very thin too. So they're super slicey and you can sharpen them. So if you do nick the edge, dent the edge, you can always resharpen it or just switch out to another blade and then buy more blades for it. So that's a really cheap way to go for a replaceable bladed knife. Now there's a lot of other replaceable bladed knives. No, I haven't done the Hawk. Did I do the Hawk Bill? No, I think I just honed it up. I still have to do the sharpening. But I'm going to get out of here, guys. I have to get ready for this trip. We're leaving for Atlanta in 2 days, and I got a mess to clean up and still got bags to pack. Guys, thank you guys for joining. Like I said, everything's always linked down in the description. So if you guys go and check out the description, you will see a lot of links down there to knife companies, sharpening dealers, basically everything you could imagine. I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me and talking sharpening and all the good shit. Work hard, stay tough. Until next time, peace. I don't think I missed any super chats.